Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole, Lore and Frey, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. Oh, man, I'm on Marineford. I'm on volume 59 of One Piece. I've blown my way past it. I've gotten past, like, the Archipelago. I've gotten past Amazon Lily. I've gotten past Impel Down. I've gotten to Marineford. And I have to say, this arc was probably the weakest we've gotten so far in a long time, since, like, Skypiea. I feel like the manga was. I feel like the pages were cluttered. A lot of the characters were annoying. Even Kav is like one of the worst characters in One Piece. You have like terrible plotting. Lots of usage of characters we haven't seen a lot of, and a very big anticlimax in the sense where like, ooh, Ace dies, and I was spoiled about this like way in advance because I think a lot of manga fans, readers, were not expecting this, but like, being spoiled on this moment and like, knowing who Ace was and going into this, like going into this arc, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, really, this is what they chose to do. This is like a big pivotal moment for like all these like well-established characters, Luffy especially, but Ace has been around forever, Whitebeard has been foreshadowed forever, but like somehow there wasn't a whole lot of good build up to this moment. Like they just kind of pull this out of their ass that like, oh, he's Gold Roger's son, and Luffy knew all along, and Whitebeard is fighting to. Okay, so basically, what happens is Ace dies, and that's basically where I'm at now. And I don't know. This is supposed to be a big pivotal moment in One Piece, right? Like a story defining way, but I found it to be like a complete joke, really. And I think when it comes down to like one very specific thing, one thing in particular is that like Ace is essentially the ultimate jobber. Okay, there's no other way to put this thing. This guy is supposedly like one of Whitebeard's best people. He's like an Efficient 2 captain. He's been promoted faster than anyone else in Whitebeard's entire lineup. He has this, really strong family history. He has like a Logia type fruit. He's like brothers with Luffy. You would think this guy has like some kind of insane plot armor, some kind of insane powers, like some crazy thing he can just pull out of his ass. But no, Luffy goes through all this shit. Like this guy legit breaks into an impregnable prison. Well, okay, actually no, he makes Boa Hancock fall in love with him, has her escort him into the prison where he stages a massive breakout of like most of their most dangerous prisoners, including people like Crocodile and Ivankov of the Revolutionary Army. You have Luffy taking these guys, sailing to Marineford, where Ace is about to be executed, and joining Whitebeard's side to fight these guys, right? Luffy leads the charge. He deals with like dozens of named characters. Like I think he fights, Hina for a brief moment. That female lieutenant that was seen on Alabasta. He fights Smoker again. He fights fucking Mihawk, a character that straight up raped Zoro earlier in the series. Curiously enough, he was like I noticed that like Daz Bones tries to fight Mihawk, and Mihawk just doesn't cut through his steel, even though Zoro already did that in Alabasta. Whatever. Like I find it strange that like Zoro could beat Bones, but Bones was able to like kind of deflect Mihawk for a brief second. I find it very difficult to believe that Mihawk could not just cut right through Mr. One's steel. That doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, Luffy's like fighting all these crazy people. He's fighting Mihawk. He's fighting the admirals, like he's fighting all these crazy motherfuckers. Okay, like basically on his own. Like Whitebeard is there, but like this guy is like 72 years old. He's at the end of his life. He can barely stand. This guy is fucked up, right? He's still there though because he loves Ace, he loves his boy, he loves his sons. But Whitebeard in general is just not in his prime, and it's kind of like acknowledged by the characters that like. He's nowhere near as capable as he used to be, but he's still there fighting the good fight essentially. And people are doing all this crazy stuff for Ace. Like all these people that really deeply care about him are doing all this crazy stuff for Ace. And what does he do? He gets free. And like for a brief couple of seconds, oh man, he's fighting these guys. He and Luffy are making their escape. They're going down this path. And then he fucking dies. Some guy insults Whitebeard and Ace gets so pissy about it, he stops and confronts him about it. Like, oh no, don't you talk about my old man. And then he dies in like the most bullshit way imaginable. Like, fucking really? After all of that? Like, Ace fucking sucks. Like, I don't know why he's such a popular character. Because like this guy, loses to Blackbeard, loses to like this guy, and like this entire arc was entirely about him. Like entirely about like saving this guy that Luffy deeply cares about. And what does he do? Throw it all away for nothing. Whitebeard dies for nothing. And I know like Luffy is going to pick up the torch and like, do stuff about this. But it's like at the end of the day, this was all like super retarded on Ace's part. Like really, all you had to do, buddy, was not get captured. When you fight against Blackbeard, this complete fucking leech who has never done anything notable in the series and has gotten his ass kicked by a number of notable characters, including, I think, like Luffy himself. Like, I think it's kind of established. I think Luffy could kick his ass if he really wanted to. The only reason he didn't do it in Impel Down was because he was in a hurry, right? Again, like all these characters have been like beating the shit out of Blackbeard. He's nothing, right? Like he sucks. Like I don't know why he has what his end game is or what his goals are, but like, oh, I'm gonna become one of the 7 warlords and then break out all these super prisoners. Why? Like, what's he doing? Like all these super prisoners that you probably can't control and can probably kick your ass with very little effort. Like considering all these situations, like. Again, this is why I call Ace a jobber, because nothing I've seen from Blackbeard in like 500 chapters makes me like intimidated by him, makes me interested in his end game or stuff like that. Like the only major character I think I dislike more than him is like Buggy the Clown, right? And even Buggy has like some funny some interesting moments in this arc with the whole like hijacking the video feed and stuff like that. I don't know, like I hate Buggy so much. I'm kind of starting to love him, honestly. But with Blackbeard, it's like, okay, like what is this guy? Like the series really wants you to think that like Blackbeard is like the anti-Luffy, the antithesis of like everything you shouldn't do when going after the One Piece. Like you shouldn't kill people if you're a pirate. You shouldn't like steal from people if you're a pirate. It's just it's like. That's not what a pirate is, though. Like, I don't understand this universe's logic when it comes to dictating like what is and isn't a pirate. Like, it seems to think that like you're a pirate if you just like, oh, you just love sailing the seas and fighting people for no reason, as opposed to like what you're actually supposed to be doing is like pillaging people and like raping bitches, right? Like, earlier in the arc, there's this scene with like where they're talking about Captain Kidd and like, oh man, he pillages from innocent people. Like it's an unusual thing for a pirate to do in the setting. It's I don't know, it's overly romanticized, I think. I don't know. It's one of those things that I just I don't know. I've been reading too much One Piece, I feel like, where I'm just kind of like overthinking these things and just kind of, I don't know, getting tired of it, I guess. I don't know. Again, I went into this like expecting that I would say that like One Piece is too long. And yeah, I do agree. One Piece is too long. There's no reason for like a good stretch of this. Like you could cut out Skypiea, lose absolutely nothing. You could cut out Thriller Bark as much as I enjoy it and lose absolutely nothing. And I don't know, like, I think Marineford could have been more interesting. Like that's kind of my views on this arc as a whole, is that like, having a super prison where like Luffy stages a breakout should have been a lot more interesting than it actually is. Like, how about actually have Robin be taken there and they have to go there to break her out? That's what I actually thought would happen when I was reading Ennis Lobby, was that, like, oh, they're not going to be able to save Robin in time. But no, what actually happens is they get her back. And honestly, like, she hasn't done anything since then. Like, it's one of those things where, like, One Piece does absolutely have a serious pacing problems. It takes way too long to get any real payoff for a lot of this stuff, right? I don't think One Piece really should even be half as long as it is. Honestly, like, there's so many things that could just be cut. Like, in this like arc, in this battle in particular, there are so many characters. There's so much shit going on screen. Like, you can't on the page, like, you can't even make out what's going on half the time. And this, like, the dialogue boxes, like, explicitly describe it for you as to, like, who's fighting who and, like, what their powers are and stuff like that. There's, like, at least, like, let's see, I want to say, like, at least 50 named characters, like, fighting each other in this. And there's probably more than that. But that is a lot for, like, this kind of story, right? Like, this, like, all of them have, like, a history with one another. Like, this should be a big epic moment. And in a lot of ways it is. Again, like, I think Whitebeard should have been a more established character by this point. I think his relationship with Ace should have been more fleshed out. But, like, I do think he's the MVP of this arc by far, because I really ended up, like, feeling for the character at the end, and I did kind of, like, I just wanted a family. Oh no, I know that feel, bro. I know that feel. It's like, oof. It was like, again, it's not a bad arc at all. Like, there are definitely plenty of things to praise about it. Like, I loved all the old character cameos. Crocodile comes back. Honestly, I dislike Crocodile and Alabasta. This portrayal, this version, where he's, like, doing something completely different, I really enjoy it, because, like, he went from, like, a basic bitch, like, villain character, like James Bond style, like, Machiavellian villain with this, like, generic evil plot to take over the world, to, like, this guy who's entire plan has crumbled and is kind of, like, trying to figure out, like, what he wants to do next. Like, he hasn't given up on his goals for conquest. He's thinking about what his next major move would be. And again, right now he seems interested in, like, he seemed interested in killing Whitebeard and stuff like that. And it just really gives a lot of nuance and intrigue to the character. It really does make you feel like, oh yeah, this is there's a lot more to this guy than we originally thought. And I think that's, like, kind of a trend with a lot of the villains in One Piece, is that there are a lot of moments like that. Actually, it might be a thing with characters in general, because I understand that there's more to certain members of the Straw Hats that we're aware of at this point. So I'll have to see how that goes about, how that comes about. I still have 40 volumes to go. I have them all. I just have to, like, read through them, and I don't know when I'm gonna have time. I'm probably gonna take the week off. Well, I'm going to, like, take the weekend and, like, get through, like, I'm sure, like, at least 5 volumes. I don't know. I've been really into it. Lately, I've gotten through, like, the vast majority of the story in the last couple of months, and I really am enjoying it. If I'm complaining about it, I am essentially explaining why this isn't my favorite manga ever. And I was thinking about that on my drive home. Is that, like, is this my favorite manga ever? And the answer is no, because I can think of, like, way better paced stories that just took way less time, that had, like, way more going on in each panel, right? Like Attack on Titan, that has problems, but for 90% of it, it's, like, the greatest thing ever. And there are, like, some issues I have, some of the things I have issues with. I really have to read through it again, actually, to kind of adequately explain my feelings on that. But yeah, I generally think I like Attack on Titan more than this. I think I like Chainsaw Man more than this, because of its unique themes and just crazy, zany sense of humor. I think I like. I can't think of anything else I like more than this. More than One Piece at the moment. It's probably my third favorite, I suppose. I can't think of anything else that I enjoy as much as One Piece. But yeah, it was an interesting arc, to be sure. It felt like too much of a retrade of Ennis Lobby for my liking. Again, this kind of goes into, like, the pacing problem I keep bringing up, but I'm excited about what happens next because I think we are going to see something a little bit different going forward. I actually don't know what happens after this at all. Like again, I know a little bit about Wano because people bitch about it so much, specifically like how long it is. But uh, yeah, other than that, I'm going into this completely blind. So this is really exciting for me. I have been completely unspoiled, and I'm just really excited to finally get get caught up on One Piece.